Hi, my name is Sandra, and I have something called eosinophilic esophagitis. It is a disease that causes inflammation in the esophagus, which is caused by these types of white blood cells called eosinophils. So you're supposed to have eosinophils in many parts of your body, but not in your esophagus. As far as I know, doctors don't know exactly why this is happening, but there's definitely a correlation between dietary and environmental allergens. So I thought I would just give you just a brief overview of my EOE journey. I first had an impaction, which is food getting stuck in your throat, around 12. I have a very vivid memory of having like a family dinner. I remember my grandmother being there, and my mom. And it lasted for a couple seconds. I was having some rice and I choked. That's what I've been calling it for many, many years. I choked. I think I spit it out in a bathroom sink. I was at home and life continued on, and it kept happening. My mom would take me to the pediatrician. The pediatrician would be like, oh, she choked on rice. She's allergic to rice. Don't give her rice. Oh, she choked on broccoli. Don't give her broccoli. So it was like, I remember like just feeling like, really? I don't, but you believe your doctor. So continued on. It was just became my normal that I would choke on food. During one of my jobs, I was listening to a podcast, like my first big job. I was listening to a podcast, and the podcast was a nutritionist talking, and they just brought up how they kept getting patients with something called eosinophilic esophagitis, and they started describing it, and I said, oh my God, that's what I have. So of course I researched it. Next doctor's appointment, I brought all these studies to the doctor, and the doctor assured me that it's so rare, I don't have to worry about it. But thanks for the studies. I really like reading these studies. I did have an endoscopy, and I was told that I had acid reflux. Life continues on. Oh well, I guess I was wrong. My mom took me to like a fancy schmancy nutritionist. The nutritionist told me to go off gluten. And all of a sudden I noticed that I was more awake, and I was like, wow, like I feel really sucky when I have gluten. And two, I didn't have any of those choking episodes. So I was like, wow, all right, perfect. Years went by, and it was starting to happen again, even though I couldn't really figure out how I'd had gluten. And so again, I was like, all right, well, this is eosinophilic esophagitis. I need somebody to believe me. So I ended up calling a doctor's office in New York City who I Googled that treated eosinophilic esophagitis. He didn't have an appointment for many, many months. And I asked the secretary, I said, if you were in my position, what would you do? And she said, well, have you been to an allergist? And I said, nope, I haven't. So I went to an allergist. The allergist knew of a local gastroenterologist. The gastroenterologist did the endoscopy, which is, sorry if this is TMI, but part of the disease. They put a scope. They put a camera down your throat, and they take biopsies. And the moment I woke up from the anesthesia, the doctor said, you have something called eosinophilic esophagitis. Very classic case. I don't even need to look at the biopsies. So there was my confirmation. I went to another gastroenterologist, and I've been with him ever since. And that is my story. I'm in my mid-30s, if that helps. I think early on, it was not, when I was 12 or 13, it was still just being discovered. So that's that. It's not an easy disease, but it's my normal. What I'm doing now, the elemental diet, is not normal, but I'm really hopeful. All right, thank you so much for watching. If you have EOE, I know you understand my pain. And be well.